Very unfortunate news. If you guys have not been keeping up with what's been going on in the Middle East, wanted to share this with you guys super quickly. Again, hope that you guys are all having an amazing Saturday. Today's June 20th. It is 10:15 a.m. here in Arizona. It says breaking. Iran's top joint military command officially releases a statement about closing the Strait of Hormuz. There was speculation about this yesterday. I didn't want to share the news yesterday because it seemed like there was a disconnect between the IRGC and the actual Iranian government. Now they're saying that the Strait of Hormuz is actually closed again. We didn't even make it one weekend. Full statement. Due to the blatant breach and violation by the United States of the first clause in the ceasefire agreement, which again, I don't really know if that's technically a violation on our part, but I bet you can't guess who they're talking about. And in response to the continuous and relentless violation of the ceasefire by Zionist regime in southern Lebanon, again, Israel attacking Lebanon, the merciless killing and displacement of hundreds of thousands of oppressed people of this land, and also considering the failure of the Zionist-occupied forces to withdraw from southern Lebanon, it is declared that the Strait of Hormuz will be closed to vessel traffic. Again, there were signs of this. We supposedly received news that U.S. intelligence agencies have been warned that the Trump administration, that Israel's Prime Minister Netanyahu is likely to take steps that will undermine President Trump's effort to reach a lasting peace deal with Iran. We've seen it over and over again. It's really hard. I would love to hear people's take that are actually from Israel, because I hope that it's not true, right? In that sense that we don't have an ally that is intentionally trying to disrupt a peace deal that we are trying to make with a country, especially when it's so important to Americans, right? America first. That's truly what it should be. But then if you say that, now you're like, okay, well then now you're just, against Israel. Well, no, right? We're here to look out for America and of course our allies. But how many times can we help out an ally before we begin to be like, hey, there's a constant denominator in this problem. And Trump and JD Vance have been more vocal about it, I would say, the past few days. Now, I know that it's a sensitive topic. The reason we're only talking about this is because of the implications that this has directly to the stock market, right? This was yesterday. Iran demands that Israeli attack on Lebanon to end before resuming talks with the U.S. And supposedly yesterday, Vice President JD Vance has postponed his planned trip to Switzerland for the U.S. and Iran talks, which were expected to begin Friday. All the signs were there that possibly what got signed on Thursday was just trying to get ahead of it to allow markets to celebrate, right? The almost 3% push that the NASDAQ market experienced, just because we kind of knew what was going to happen over the weekend. Trump probably knew that. What have we learned so far? Trump has made it very clear that he understands, this is not an opinion, this is a fact. He openly spoke about anytime we talked about a peace deal, markets would skyrocket. And when the peace deal wouldn't happen, markets really wouldn't crash. He knew about the manipulation, and he carried this forward for the past 9 to 10 weeks. Now, it's just a different approach. Now, supposedly, there's a signed deal. From my understanding, there are still attacks that Israel is currently laying out in the Middle East, and this is directly now creating this potential closure for the Strait of Hormuz. What is different now than before? Because does this just put us back to where we were before this peace deal was signed, right? NASDAQ market is nearly at all-time highs, so why really do we care if markets don't really care about it? I agree with you, because at the end of the day, if markets do not sell off in the sense of trading and investing in the market, I'm not talking about personally, I'm not talking about morally, I'm just talking about the market and the effects that it has in it. If markets really don't care, then we will see that directly on Monday, right? But what do we know now that we didn't know before? We know that Trump knowingly understands that markets have rallied and has acknowledged it and won't really sell off. Will they continue to do that? Now that we know that that is a direct form of manipulation that Trump has been aware of and has been doing for the past 9 to 10 weeks, causing this huge rally. The second thing is Trump openly stated that we only had about 4 weeks left of reserves when it came down to oil, which first off is a direct, it's the opposite of what Trump said a few weeks ago, that the US was super oil rich. We had so much oil and we had nothing to worry about. Now he is saying we had to close this deal. We had 4 weeks left of oil reserves. What will this do to the oil markets if attacks do resume and the closures do continue? Are now oil markets going to be more sensitive, being aware of the scarcity, of the lack of supply? That's what I want to learn more of. I don't know, right? You don't know. I don't know. No one knows how the markets are going to react on Monday, because will this closure even continue until Monday? Because Trump has been notorious for attacking over the weekend, and Sunday night there's a peace deal. So again, everything is still kind of like walking on eggshells. But what I wanted to share were these three things. First, yes, it looks like the peace deal and the opening of the Strait of Hormuz is now kind of falling apart because of Israel attacking Lebanon. And Iran does not like that. Surprise, surprise. All those signs were there. We're aware of it. The second thing is, if there is a closure, how are markets going to react now that we know that Trump is aware of the market manipulation that he's had for the past 9 to 10 weeks? Will it still react the same and not care? Or will it be a little bit more sensitive because now we know he has been playing with these levers for the past few weeks? And then the last thing is, how will oil markets react? If there is a closure of the Strait of Hormuz, will oil begin to rebound? That's a huge opportunity, right? If we look at UCO, it's at one of the lowest levels. So how will oil trade after this closure presents itself, knowing that we only had 4 weeks left? Again, should be pretty interesting. Do we see a sharp recovery, or will he open them back up that it will just lead to a further drop? I didn't really care to buy the dip on oil before, but now knowing what we know now, I could entertain a very small long position on oil, knowing that things are still pretty uncertain about this peace deal. I really thought that last week, based off of what was signed, that Trump was very eager and open to making a deal. But now it seems like, again, obviously he was open to it, but it doesn't seem like Israel is going to allow it. And it seems like the United States will always have to back Israel, at least for now. And if that's the case, then attacks might follow. So again, I'm playing it by ear. I am watching oil because, again, if the closures do happen and more attacks happen, oil is likely to recover. So this is where the trade of going long on oil could make sense if and only if the closures do happen, the attacks resume, and then oil prices are likely to recover. And what's likely to drop? Anything speculative. On top of that, airlines, right? If we look at Love, which is, I have a whole airline watch list. If you're part of my LPP team, I'll share it with you again. But just a few airline stocks that I pay attention to, right? We got American Airlines, a very sharp recovery from the lows of $10, now back to $16. Why? Oil makes up 20 to 30% of the expenses for these airline companies. So yes, it was a huge celebration, a consistent upward, it was a huge dip by opportunity, right? For those that saw it as an opportunity, we talked about it when oil prices were high. Obviously, if you can tolerate the time that it might take for oil prices to drop, that's where the opportunity is. But now it's like, okay, what if the attacks do resume? Are airlines likely to drop if oil prices go back up, right? And what does that technically look like? So we got American Airlines, we got Southwest Airlines, we got Boeing, we got Jets, which is an ETF for the airline sector. We got Alaska Airlines, we got United Airlines, and we got Delta Airlines. I just want you guys to be aware of, hey, if this does happen, these are the specific areas that we can pay attention to. If an attack does happen and the closures do continue and markets begin to drop, you can look at inverse ETFs, you can look at shorting the markets, you can look at going long on oil, or you can look at going short on specific sectors that get affected directly by higher oil prices, which of course would be the airline industry. With that being said, if it doesn't end up actually causing the closures, if nothing actually ends up happening when it comes down to these attacks, and if the peace deal do continue, I'd be very interested to see how markets continue to trade on Monday, right? We're nearly at all-time highs. I would love to get your take on it. Do you believe this peace deal with Iran and the US will continue, or do you think that we're likely to break the peace deal because of Israel and markets are likely to drop? Let me know what you are doing to prepare. Are you continuing to go long? Are you willing to short the market, which of course comes at a greater form of risk as shorting does? Do you want to go into inverse ETFs, or are you buying the dip on oil to go long to hedge those positions just in case oil goes up and markets go down? You can make a little bit of money as they begin to go up. What is your approach? And if it's something completely different, I would love to learn more about it. Let me know down in the comment section. And like I've said so many times before, again, whenever it is that you are ready to join our team, LPP, we trade live every single morning right at market open. It's the second link in the description down below. And again, if you guys haven't checked it out, you can even watch one of our previous live trading sessions before you even join LPP, so you can get exactly an understanding of what to expect before you actually watch me trade live. On top of that, if you just want to use it to plan out your next trade, we have a free risk calculator. We have a free calculator to be able to determine what your win rate needs to be based off of your risk to reward. Then on top of that, if you just want to get a breakdown of seeing exactly what's included in LPP with the A to Z video lesson library, the daily live trading sessions, and the private group chat, it's all included. It's a one-time payment for lifetime access. And if you want a big discount, then again, right now, click that second link down below. You're going to get $300 off using promo code SAVE300. And again, you can use that discount code at checkout. I really do appreciate you guys' time. I hope to see you on Monday for our live trading session. And like always, let's make sure that we end the year on a green note. Take care, team.